Hello, hello, everyone! Happy New Year! It is if you're watching this video on day of release. Today's the first, right? Yeah. Hopefully you're not too hungover. You know, not too bad. We'll survive, right? We're still here. We're still here. We made it another year. Congratulations, everyone. The world has gone around the sun once more, as predicted. We are playing World of Warships Legends. I am Phoenix61, your host for today. We are rocking the Suzuya. It's my best attempt to pronounce this ship. I'm trying to get better just because I play this ship quite a bit, right? This is one of my favorite cruisers. It's also a big money maker for me, so if you're, I don't like to spend a lot of real cash on this game, right? So, but I do buy premium, right? And then I'll occasionally get Admiralty backing for campaigns when I do complete the campaign. So, the Suzuya, I'm not sure if this was, I think this might be one you could buy every once in a while for like global XP, and I think that's probably what we did. But yeah, so keep an eye out for it if you enjoy Japanese cruisers. It plays just like a lot of the other ones do. But for the most part, this is kind of my money-making ship, right, when I need game credits, right? So when I need whatever it's called, silver, I think. So just because of the sheer amount of, like, how many guns you have, you get all these torpedoes, and I'm pretty good with it. For the most part, we do have some fails out there, right? That exists, that's a thing. Yeah, for the most part, this is kind of my moneymaker when I need silver to unlock new ships or buy upgrades. Some of those premium ships, when you get them, then you can't afford the upgrades for them. So this is my go-to when I need some cash, right? But absolutely always kind of pick and choose whichever one works best for you, right? This kind of suits my play style. I feel like I've got this commander kind of dialed in for how I like it, so it generally works out for us pretty good. So for the most part, my strategy with the Japanese cruisers, most of them anyway, is I kind of try and just fire spam, right? So we've done a build that kind of supports the strength of the ship, and so HE shells tend to be a little bit, a little bit stronger, a little bit better than the average HE shell, right? So we've done a lot of just kind of boosting their performance, right? I think there's like some of these Japanese cruisers have, like if you go to the overview section, they have it's called like napalm or something. There's something to do with HE shells, right? So, but that's not to say that the AP shells, like, don't forget about them. If you've got good broadside shots on ships, especially other cruisers in general, you can really make work of people, and a lot of times they don't expect it, right? So that's still there, that still exists, and you absolutely can still switch between the two to kind of maximize your damage output. But for the most part, what my strategy is kind of, we like to take this defensive position and sort of kite away, we're pointed away from enemies. The ship seems to take a little bit less damage like that. Sometimes you can still get racked pretty hard. But you do have to pay attention to incoming shells, right? So you'll see me adjust speed and course a lot when we're noticing battleships shooting at us, right? So then the other thing too is the torpedo angle kind of supports this defensive position as well. You can kind of fire off to the side and then kind of behind you with torpedoes, as you saw us doing. So if ships are kind of hunting you down, this ship works really well at, if you have ships that are being aggressive and coming towards you or coming into zones, this ship works really well at kind of countering that, right? Because you can run away, and as you're running away, you can really do some kind of damage with, between setting fires and launching torpedoes. You can really make work of people. So it did kind of tempt some of these guys to turn away from us, right? So I'm like, I'm out of here. But yeah, for the most part, we'll fire spam, and then if we notice, we've got a fire going on one ship, we'll kind of switch between ships a lot. I like to get multiples going on multiple ships. And I'm a huge fan of forcing people to use their damage control, right? So you'll see that. So we get the fire kill on the Bismarck there, who was trying to escape. You can't escape the burn. And then this Georgia's going to be a pain in the side, right? So those are rounds I don't enjoy getting hit by when I'm in this ship. So we're trying to pay attention to when he fires and either slowing down, speeding up, turning away, turning towards, whatever is going to work best. Generally, I like to kind of tease the enemy by going somewhat broadside here, and then as he fires, we'll hit the brakes and then turn away, right? So as we see him fire his shells, which are coming up, we got shells on the way, so we're going to go full reverse and then turn away. And a lot of times, I think he's starting to anticipate that that's what I'm doing, because he fired, he fired a little bit to the other side. But before he was, those shells were landing inside our ship and missing. So yeah, but it still worked for us. We'll pick on this Cleveland. He looks like he's coming hard. So I sent one rack of torpedoes towards where the Georgia was, and then we'll send another one towards this Cleveland, right, in case that Georgian decides to come out of his shell and come from around the corner. He's not doing his team very much good sitting there. I'm probably the only ship that Georgia really has access to shoot. And then, of course, we can't even see him right now, so yeah. I don't know what he's doing back there. Maybe he's trying to back up, but yeah, he's kind of taking himself out of play. So it gives us an opportunity to pick on some of these other ships, especially if they're not going to shoot at us, right? This Heisen doesn't appear interested in us, and then that cruiser is not shooting at us anymore either. I need to aim a little bit higher. He is kind of at range. I think that's part of why we're missing too. Oh, it's a Cleveland. Alright, here comes the Georgia, but we were moving backwards, so his bullets missed. Uh-oh. Okay, that could have been worse than it was. Those Georgia, the shells from the Georgia are very penetrating. They hurt a lot. Here comes some more, but we're changing direction. We're going full forward now. Hopefully those fall behind us. But yeah, like I said, I have this ship for the modifications on it. I have the, instead of rudder shift time, I have the ability to like accelerate quicker, get up to full speed faster. And I think that helps because the rudder shift is already pretty good, right? So we take advantage of the fact that like that part of the ship's already pretty decent. And so I like being able to, go from a complete stop to, accelerating quicker. I feel like that works out for me quite a bit better, especially when we're doing things like this where we're slamming on the brakes to try and dodge bullets. Then being able to get going back up to speed helps quite a bit out with that, right? Otherwise, you're kind of you're a sitting duck once you've dodged that first set, and then somebody else shoots at you, and you're moving slow, right? So we will obviously pick on this Cleveland as much as we can, since he's kind of our only hope for doing damage at the moment. But just from whittling, we don't have any big kills. We didn't do anything awesome in this game so far, but we already are up to 100,000 damage. The game's only halfway over, right? So this is kind of your typical, like at least for me, this is my typical playstyle with this ship. I do occasionally go the classic cruiser route, just depending on the situation of kind of trying to stay behind cover and fire from cover. It just gets a little bit more difficult to make use of torpedoes in those situations. So that's kind of saying, like, this ship's really shines as you're kind of retreating and being cowardice, running away from ships like in this exact scenario here, right? We've got pretty decent accuracy. We're getting hits on that Cleveland. We're dodging most of his bullets, and since he's moving towards us, we're able to send torpedoes in his direction and kind of hope for some hits, right? One looks like it might get there. Maybe. He's probably like, where are those torps coming from? So our base is getting capped. So I'm fully suspecting that we might have to deal with we will have to deal with a destroyer. And it looks like nobody else is around us here, right, to help us out. We got a battleship. That's the only other person that's real close to our zone. So I'm trying to make my way in towards there, and then we do trip our sonar, because I'm sure that destroyer is eyeing us up with torpedoes as well, right? Still didn't get a torp hit on the Cleveland. That one was so close. But so what I want to do is turn in towards our zone to help defend it, right? But I don't want to be broadside to this Cleveland. So he goes unspotted. So we'll take a little bit of the risk just because we kind of are forced to, right? And then I'm going to turn away here again just because he shot at us. So this change in direction is probably throwing off the destroyer there. Oh yeah, somebody picked him up. Our destroyer got back to our zone pretty quick. Nice job. I was not suspecting somebody else to come in and help us out with that. If we win this game, it's going to be due to teamwork. Thank you, sir. Alright, we get another kill. We had that Cleveland on fire. Heisen belongs to us now. So I'm going to try and slow down to keep that Heisen in range, right? Yeah, another fire. And then also, yeah, so it threw him off. We were basically stopped, and he thought we were going to keep moving forward. So all of his shells went out in front of us. But this way too, when if he keeps progressing this way, we'll be able to send more torpedoes in his direction. But as we keep lighting him on fire, he's not going to have damage control to put these out. And the other thing too, with our destroyers out there, so you know, if we trigger damage con and then our destroyers hit him with a torpedo and they cause that flood, like he's going to be, you know, screwed. Like flood damage is the absolute worst, right? So it's the absolute best when it's your team that's flooding you, right? So, or flooding the enemy, right? So I'm guessing, I think he might have already used his damage con, and so he doesn't, either that or he's being patient. But I thought maybe he had already put out one fire from us. So now he's got a couple burning on it. So yeah, our damage numbers are just ticking up like crazy here. We went from 100 to 160,000 pretty quick. There we popped the Witherer medal. Another fire. We got torpedoes on the way too. He's gonna get, yeah, whooped, yeah. So Summers hit him with a torpedo. So now the hunt is on. We are down, we're technically still losing, right? We're down on points. Their destroyer that was sitting in our zone, while he didn't get the capture on it, that prevents us from getting points. You know, you still get the +2 points every so many seconds for your base, basically. But if an enemy's sitting in it while they're getting that capture, you know, even if you're hitting them and resetting the cap, you're not getting those 2 points, right? So that's part of why they have more points than us right now, because they had someone sitting in our zone. The other thing too is they've got 2 battleships, so they have 2 battleships left, and battleships are worth more points when you kill them, right? So the point spread on losing a battleship is a little bit worse. If you kill an enemy battleship, you get a good chunk of points, and then that team loses a good chunk of points, and then it kind of depletes depending on the ship. So cruisers, it's the same thing, but it's a little bit less points on each end, right? Same thing with destroyers. So them having more, ooh, there's our Duncan, huh? Them having more battleships is kind of part of why they've got more points at this moment, right? So we need to fix this. We will get as many bullets on this Duncan as we can and try and trigger some fires here. He knows, it looks like he knows he needs to run away to try and win this game, right? It does not look hopeful for him at the moment, but if he's got a heal going, it looks like he might also have will to rebuild going or something, because he was healing pretty good, right? So there might be a destroyer over there kind of helping him stay alive. But those British battleships have the super zombie heal, right? So you can really things kind of add up. So his survivability looks pretty good right now, right? We need a battleship to hit him good with AP rounds to just kind of do that chunk damage all at once, right? But I think if we get enough fires on him, or somebody gets a torpedo, so he's firing at us, so we're hitting full brakes and turning in to try and dodge those bullets. You just can't see it because I'm still zoomed in, but you can see now those bullets went way out to the left. That's because we anticipated that shot. And then we'll pick on the Georgia here. So now we're up on points because the Duncan went down. And actually, I just would like to, now the tables have turned, right? So I need to just not be spotted. So I probably shouldn't have even fired at that Georgia, but I didn't look at the situation until after I had pulled the trigger, right? We got a little trigger happy. So we're gonna hit the brakes and just back up and not fire our guns, because I think if we die, that might be enough points for them to cap the win. And there's only 50 seconds left. So, yeah, I see my teammates are calling for me to get back. I'm way ahead of you guys, way ahead of you. So, yeah, so we stopped firing our guns, so we're out of our just general detectability range, and the Georgia's, you know, trying to finish us off. He's even taking those guess shots. And our destroyer probably needs to not go where I was, right? But yep, so us backing up and just, you know, avoiding firing our guns, paying attention to the scoreboard, that's going to win us this game in the end here. So 196,000 damage, that's probably going to be where we're going to end up. If we wanted to, you know, we're looking at the seconds. It's 11 seconds for our bullets to get there when you zoom in on that locked on target, right? So you could fire, you know, you could try to fire around at the last second to try and get a, you know, that risky move in there. But so we'll get ourselves spotted here, but there's not enough time for him to react and not enough time for his bullets to travel to us before we win the game, right? So I always enjoy the little last peekaboo at the end, right? Especially when we've been hidden. So we'll see where we end up on the leaderboard. 196,000 damage. Well, that's pretty sweet for a Suzuya game. 3 kills. That does put us at the top. 3,400 XP. And then, yeah, 750,000 credits or silver, whatever you want to call those things. So that's what I was saying in the beginning of the game. Like, this is really my favorite moneymaker ship. I think if you have premium, then you throw credit boosters on there, and then you play with the tier 7 premium ship. That's kind of your sweet spot, right? So pick your favorite tier 7. If you don't have premium, I think probably tier 6 might be a little bit better, because the cost is, you know, cheaper. Right, your maintenance costs. But so for the most part, we have inspirations for, you know, range and accuracy, and HE shells, and then you know, these picks on the commander themselves. I went 8 chances of HE shell causing fire just because we use the HE shells quite a bit more. And then this one, you know, we picked the defensive here just because the other option is a little more AP shell focused and we don't use the AP shells as much, right? So then I'm almost always using fully packed for my commanders. I do go through my consumables quite a bit, and if you have a long game, those extra consumables can be pretty valuable. I think if you find yourself not using all of your consumables, you know, the refill station or some of the other cruiser, commander, legendary skills would probably be a better choice, right? So that's something to just kind of keep in mind. If you're not going through those consumables, fully packed is probably a wasted thing to have, right? So that's our game for today. Please absolutely make sure to like the video if you enjoyed watching. If you didn't enjoy watching, then I don't even know why you're still here. But obviously don't like it if you didn't like it, right? That's stupid, right? That's silly. That's silly. But do make sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy World of Warships Legends. I'm putting out videos every single day, at least for the time being, as long as we can last, right? All right, right? So see you tomorrow.